Right. So in the toolbar, number 3 tool, if I press and hold, it pops out the list of the 3 tools, which is lasso, polygonal lasso, and magnetic lasso. Again, lasso is quite old and inherited from even the latest versions and oldest versions of Photoshop. So you'll find lasso almost everywhere. Magnetic lasso is only from CS4. It wasn't there, so it's a new addition from CS4. Quite interesting tools. Lasso, the first one, is normally used when you don't want any specific precise selections. Okay, it's one of the toughest tools to use if you want to select some complex shapes like that. Okay, how it works is you simply pick the tool. It will give you similar options as you can see. It gives you start, end, add, subtract. But with the lasso, uh, you start with wherever you want to start from, and then you have to click and hold your mouse, which is a press. So you literally keep pressing down, and then you move your hands sturdily across your shape. Imagine how hard is that, and how sturdy hands you need if you want to go all over the body like that. And then join where you start from. Okay. For this reason, it's really hard to use just lasso, plain lasso tool, if you want to precise. Normally, lassos are used sometimes if you just want a color patch. You use this, or I use lasso tools when if I have a selection by quick mask, for example, like that. Okay, and you see this extra portion has been added. So when I want to precisely subtract some part of this image, then I use lasso tool, subtract mode from the options, and then using lasso, I randomly draw shapes like that and join it, so it subtracts those parts for me. So it's not totally useless tool. It's quite useful sometimes when you want to do addition subtractions, because other tools will give you trouble. But this tool, randomly you can quickly go like that and join it, so it will do the subtractions for your tool. Okay, so it goes like that. Okay, so to go with that, I'm not going to use this tool right now for selection of this particular shape. What we will be doing is I'll show you the polygonal and magnetic lasso. There are also lasso, means you start at one point, you follow on your selection, and you finish it. So it gives you the loop. Closing the loop is important in lassos. You must start at one point somewhere and you must close it somewhere. Okay. With the plain lasso, you join it by holding your mouse throughout your journey. Okay, but slight bit release in polygonal lasso. In polygonal, if I go through it, how this tool works, it also like lasso, you start from wherever you want. Let's say I start from here, but you don't have to keep holding down your mouse. Okay, you can have your mouse freehand, and you can see my mouse is following the first click. Okay, and then wherever you want to go next point, just move, extend your selection and press one more time. So the moment you click, it drops the second point. This way, by clicking all the time, you can keep carrying on like that, and it will keep creating additional points for you to do selections. At occasions, even this is quite handy when you want to do precise selections in a controlled way. Okay, but again, this will be time consuming when you want to do a bit more tedious selections. Now, to save us from all of this other tool which you have in the same set is magnetic lasso. What this tool does is when you select it, obviously it's a lasso, but it's a combination of the plain lasso tool and magnetic polygonal lasso tool. What it does, if I click on the point to start, you can observe here. Let's say I'm starting from here. Click, and all I have to do is now move my mouse all over the edges for my selection part. So let's say if I want to select this man, I'm only going to move my cursor around this man. And you see the points are getting dropped automatically? You see that? I'm not clicking, but if you can observe here, those square blocks here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, these polygonal dots, mouse will drop it on itself. You don't even have to drop it. In polygonal lasso, you have to physically click to follow your selections. In magnetic, you just follow your mouse and it will find the contrast between the color on one side and the color on the other. And wherever the highest contrast is, it will keep dropping the points nearby edges. That's what it was doing. It is finding the high contrast, so it is finding the nearest edge and it drops the point. There's no control in your hand in terms of where it's going to drop the point. But even though it's magnetic, at some point, if you think you need to precisely click there, you can keep clicking as well. So whenever you want to keep clicking, you click like a polygonal. But whenever you want just freehand movement, just follow it. It will drop points automatically. So it's a combination of 2-3 tools together, which is quite interesting. Now, the only problem with this tool, which you will all will see when you're going to work, let's say I go to the other tool, or by mistake I want to move to the layer, and magnetic lasso is still on. So if I go somewhere here, this is what keeps happening. You know, and you will reach some point and you'll get so frustrated, and the whole software will freeze because the tool doesn't find any end, and you keep moving your cursor everywhere, and the whole software will freeze. But this is a common sight when you use magnetic lasso. It will take a long time for you to get practice, and a lot of people use pen mouse for that to have a precise, nice movements. Okay, but if something like this happens, the best is to press escape. Okay, on your keyboard, hit escape, and you'll be back to normal. Okay, there's nothing wrong. You don't have to shut down your computer and so on. Just press escape. It'll come back to normal, and you can start your journey again. Let's say click. Normally it will drop nicely. Look, I'm not doing anything. And if I want to do addition subtractions, once I finish my loop, I can use any other tool to get rid of additional selections, you know. So it's quite quick, similar to quick selection. Other information, if your mouse goes a bit crazy here and there, you don't escape, you can press backspace, okay, or a delete key for Mac. But PC users, there's a backspace key which is just above the enter. If you press backspace once, it deletes your 1 point. Okay, again press backspace, 1, 2. See, so if you get random additional points, keep hitting backspace and it will go backward as many points you want. Okay, so with that, I'm just going to carry on. If I want to click precisely, I can click, carry on. There you go. I'm not doing anything, and this is where I started. Click. Done. It works quite nice because I've seen one of my learner, he's got pen and a pad where he draws. Darren, I think you all know. So it works so nice with that pen, precisely. But with the mouse also, it doesn't give you a bad result. Look at that. So I want you to use this magnetic lasso and a polygonal lasso. Do the selection of this character, but this is what I want you to do. At the end result, we are going to create an iPod kind of campaign. You know, these iPods, when they launch, they used to have a beautiful ads with a fluorescent background and black silhouettes of characters, something similar. So we're going to use this character right now. And what I'm going to do is simply add a blank layer. Right? Watch what I'm doing. I've inserted blank layer, same like sunflower. If I'll hide the background, I can see my selection on the blank layer, right? Take paint bucket, default color black foreground. You got your character with the black color. Easiest way to create silhouettes, selections, and fill with the black color. Right? Deselect. Add one more layer. Fill that new layer with another fluorescent color, whichever color you like. Drop the color onto the whole layer. So you see the whole stage filled with that color. Simply drag this layer, keep it under 1. and done. That's how a lot of iPod and iPads we have seen. Very simple techniques to be done. Let's see if we can do that. Once you do that, I'll explain you the next activity. Let me stop